The Sword and Shield Spear PvP build is a medium melee build designed for smaller scale PvP fights. Whilst it does perform well in OPR, it is more designed for 3v3 arena and the Cursed Mists free-for-all zone. As we are still in the early days of New World Aeternum, most of the gear is not yet 725 and we will upgrade as and when available. To start things off, we have our sword. We are using the Gloomed Bowsprit Longsword. This comes with Penetrating the Empowered and Vicious. For the final perk, we've added a Boreal Attunement. A 710 version of this sword can be purchased from the WoW in Cutlass Keys for 750 doubloons. It can then be upgraded at the WoW to 725 with a third perk of your choice for a further 1250 doubloons and a coconut. For our shield, we are using a round shield with the perks Accelerated Resolve, Enchanted Ward, Keenly Jagged, and Shield Aggression. For the spear, we are using the Artifact Spear Venom. This comes with the unique perk Poison Tipped, which causes our heavy attacks to apply poison. It also comes with Trenchant Crits and Trenchant Strikes. For the final perk, we've added Bleeding Sweep. This all results in our sweep doing massive damage and applying both poison and bleed. For both our weapons, we are using a Jasper Runeglass gem, one with lightning damage and the other with burn. On the armour, for our chest, we are using the new heavy chest artifact, Survivor's Coat. Survivor's Coat's unique perk, Survive, causes us to gain 50 stamina, lose all debuffs, and gain a potion surge, recharging our next healing potion when we get hit whilst under 50% health. This perk is amazing and can quickly turn the fight in your favour. Being able to use 2 health potions in a fight is huge, and losing all debuffs is massive. The only downside to the perk is that it has a 120-second cooldown. This is the reason this build is more catered around smaller scale fights. The impact of having 2 potions is much greater in the free-for-all zone or in arena than in OPR, where you'll often have a healer. And the 120-second cooldown means it will be on cooldown for a lot of the bigger fights in OPR, whereas in smaller scale fights, it's often off cooldown when the next fight begins. Survivor's Coat comes with Enchanted Ward and Refreshing. For the final perk, we've added Thorny Reflection. Thorny Reflection is a new PvP only perk. When you take a critical hit, it will reflect 7% nature damage back and reduce the attacker's crit chance by 10% for 3 seconds. This perk is great as it not only provides extra damage, but also reduces incoming damage by lowering your enemy's crit chance. This perk cannot be stacked, so you can only use one, but it's definitely worth a slot. For the rest of our armour, we are using a medium helm and gloves with light legs and feet that overall puts us in a medium equip load. For our helm, we are using Enchanted Ward, Refreshing, and Empowering Leaping Strike. For our gloves, we're using Health, Thrust Conditioning, and Contagious Upheaval. For our legs, we are using Enchanted Ward, Refreshing, and Slash Conditioning. And for the boots, we are using Hasted Vigor, Refreshing, and Slash Conditioning. Hasted Vigor is another new perk. It causes the potency of incoming damage over time effects to be reduced by 7%. It also provides a 10% haste for 5 seconds when hit whilst under the effects of a damage over time effect. This perk can be stacked up to 3 times. However, as far as I can tell, only the 7% potency reduction stacks and not the haste. This perk also shares a perk bucket with Enchanted Ward, meaning you can't have both on the same piece of armour. For those reasons, this perk feels great as a one-off perk. For the amulet, we are using Health, Slash Conditioning, and Divine. For the ring, we are using Hearty, Slash Damage, and Leeching. And for the earring, we are running the artifact Endless Thirst. Endless Thirst's unique perk increases the healing from our potions by 33%, but increases their cooldown by 25%. It comes with Empowering Toast and Fortifying Toast. For the final perk, we've added Regeneration. This artifact combos great with Survivor's Coat. With Survivor's Coat giving us an extra potion surge, we can gain even more benefits from the increased healing and buffs from Empowering Toast and Fortifying Toast. For our attributes, we are using 100 Strength, 300 Dex, and 200 Con. As we get more 725 items to upgrade the build, we will gain some more attribute points that I would suggest adding to Strength. 300 Dex gives us the attribute threshold bonus of cleansing stuns and roots on weapon swap, and 150 Dex gives us 15% to our damage over time effects, which is big for Venom. 100 Strength gives us plus 10% physical damage, and 200 Con provides us a good health pool and bonus to our armor. Now let's take a look at some of our skill trees. With the release of New Aeternum, the Sword and Shield had a reworked skill and a few changes to some passives. Reverse Stab has now been replaced with Upheaval. This rework is great. The skill feels fun to use and hits for massive damage. It also reduces our cooldowns by 25%. What really makes it great, especially in small scale fights, is the perk which we mentioned earlier, Contagious Upheaval. This causes Upheaval to transfer 2 debuffs from yourself to your target. There's nothing better than fighting a fire mage just to transfer those burn stacks right back at them. For our next skill, we are using Leap and Strike. This provides movement, allowing us to gap close or get away. It also provides damage and slow. For our final skill, we are using Defender's Resolve. Defender's Resolve is typically more of a tanking skill and is not often seen in offensive builds. However, there was a change in one of the passives with New Aeternum that caught my eye. The upgrade, Final Countdown, now provides a buff dependent on the type of shield that you use. With a round shield, using Defender's Resolve will now provide 20% base damage buff while still reducing damage by 30%. This is a massive swing in damage, allowing you to tank some hits whilst dishing out damage. As mentioned earlier, we are also using the perk Accelerated Resolve on our shield. This gives a 34% movement buff and increases healing by 14%. This allows us to use Defender's Resolve offensively to chase down targets or to escape if needed. The extra healing also combos with Survivor's Coat, allowing our refreshed potions to heal for even more. Now let's take a look at the spear tree. We are using the skills Sweep, Perforate and Skewer. Sweep is the key skill here. As mentioned earlier, successfully hitting a sweep will trigger all of Venom's perks, dealing massive damage and applying poison and bleed. Perforate allows us to stack some rend and weaken, and Skewer provides us with empower and bleed. For the majority of the fight, we'll be using the Sword and Shield to attack with, mainly switching to the spear just to use the abilities. Overall, this build feels great to play, providing a good mix of damage and defense, nice movement, and a fluid playstyle. That's it for the video. If you have any questions about the build, drop us a comment below. Thanks for watching.